Hey there, everybody. This is Caitlin here, aka Scribble Sketch, and welcome back to Card Game Wednesday, the day of the week where we enjoy all things card game related. And today we have something a little bit different, a little bit of a Halloweeny special, if I'd like to call it. Not really totally related to Halloween specifically, but it's kind of like a spooky theme, kind of like a what if scenario, kind of indulging a little bit on a couple of things I want to talk about regarding one character. Now, this isn't like a totally in-depth analysis into this specific character, but this is mainly my reasons as to why I think this particular character may have been the scariest that we have ever seen in the Force of Will lore. And who am I talking about? Well, the thumbnail would probably have given it away, but the character I'm going to be talking about is Valentina. Now, Valentina is a very peculiar character in that we don't know everything entirely about her origin, aka her creation or her birth, or even where she originally came from, even to a certain extent her true form. And I think that's really what scares me the most, is really, we never get a true glimpse of what her actual form is. We see little inklings of it. It's been described faintly in segments of lore and story, and there was a slight hint as to what it could potentially be in one of her pretty much her last appearance on a card, one of the I believe it was an SR within the Echoes of the New World, pretty much her last appearance on a card. Since then she didn't make any kind of appearance. Well, she didn't properly make an appearance in Raid Cluster. She was slightly in the background of one of the arts for a card, but that's not really a proper appearance or anything. And of course, by the looks of it, she won't be in New Valhalla, so I think it's safe to say that we've maybe seen the last of Valentina as of now. But I want to give my reasons as to why I think she's actually Force of Will's scariest character. Not only do we not really know her origins, where she came from, how she came to be on Ataratica, whether she's even a resident of Ataratica originally, we don't really know entirely what kind of powers entirely she possesses, because she possesses quite a number of powers, and it seems to vary depending on the body she is within. So, as far as we are aware, the actual entity known as Valentina has the ability to possess bodies. That seems to be the base ability that she has in that form. But as we saw, on the various bodies and various characters that she possessed, she seemed to gain the power of whoever she was controlling, or rather, whoever she was within the host of. So, first off, we see the Valentina from the Ataratica saga and whatnot. She seems to be this queen of Shangri-La and everything, or rather she's a princess of love, as she's originally called. She's quite, a mature lady. She's got long blonde hair. She's got quite big assets, if I'd like to call it that. And, she has this kind of look about her, this kind of regal, almost sultry look to her. And she's related to water and everything like that. She doesn't seem to outright have any kind of power at that point there. She just seems to, she's related to the water. She's got a sword. She seems to have an arsenal and an army. It wasn't until we saw the Twilight Wanderer saga and whatnot, and the arrival of Dark Alice, that things slowly started to descend into madness here. So kind of Valentina was starting to show her true form, in that she betrayed the rest of the Seven Kings. She revealed that she was kind of in cahoots with Dark Alice, and she was happy for the rest of them to get slaughtered. And she revealed that essentially she wanted Alice for herself. She wasn't quite sure why she wanted Alice, but it was revealed that she craves and she favors beautiful things over everything else, over the well-being of others, over the well-being of her subjects, quote-unquote subjects, because we're not actually sure whether those were her true subjects or whether she just stole the body of the real ruler of Shangri-La. But I find it really interesting that, above all else, beauty is her main goal. And for some reason, it's not really to the point where, she wants to conquer, she wants to destroy the world, she wants to rule. Just her obsession with beauty and the concept of it and just possessing it in her arms or in her hold is what drives her. And I think that kind of, reason to be evil, or that reason for the things that she ends up doing, is quite scary in itself, in that a concept such as beauty, something that sometimes is so superficial in regards to people, it ends up driving her to do the most horrible of things. So for instance, she ends up defeating Priscilla. She ends up not really killing her, because we never got our confirmation whether she needs to kill people in order to possess them, or whether she can just possess them outright, because Priscilla's will was left behind and whatnot, and so she was able to gain back her body. But we know that she was able to brutally defeat Priscilla, take her body, possess her body, then brutally murder Shion, however you want to pronounce it, brutally murder her. And then what we didn't know at the time was that she actually collected her body and turned her into a memoria, and basically she kept kept this dead body that she had stored away for like a safekeeping and whatnot. And she kept Shion's body until the point where she no longer had control of Priscia's body. She lost control of it after a battle with Faria and Alice, I believe, and also Zero a little bit. So she lost Priscia's body there, and so she then resided within Shion's body, who we thought was totally dead. And it seemed like she was dead, and that Valentina was merely possessing her corpse, because you see in her final card appearance, rather, for Echoes of the New World, Shion's body is literally crumbling away and dissolving as if it really is unraveling and dying, and the miasma that is Valentina is what's left behind. But even then, she's becoming sealed and whatnot within, I believe it was Schrodinger's box at the end of the Echoes of the New World saga and whatnot. So actually, I feel like she is terrifying in concept. She's just this malicious demonic entity that will take bodies as she pleases, as long as it helps her on her quest to obtaining true beauty, whether it's for her to own, for her to become it. She's just like fueled entirely by this concept, and I find it terrifying, especially that she can inherit basically the powers of anyone that she possesses. So we saw, well, it was a little bit weird. So when she possessed Priscia, she didn't necessarily get her powers over beasts, but by taking control of the Moonchan stone, she was able to corrupt Moonchan and then basically become the master of illusion plus fantasy. So while she didn't necessarily have to possess Moonchan's body, just by owning the stone and being able to corrupt it and whatnot, she was able to use the power for herself. And we also saw that while she was in Shion's body, she seemed to be able to use her power of her song, at least to some extent, because it seemed to be indicated that she was using her voice in some parts when she was fighting, because it didn't seem that Shion had any particular weapon. She mainly just like fought with her voice and rallying the people, so it seemed to be that she used that to her best ability there while she was still possessing Shion. But in the end of it, she just couldn't defeat the power that was Schrodinger's box, and it seemed to be that was her untimely demise until Rhea Cluster essentially reset the timelines, and we never actually got a clear indication as to whether the new Valentina was still evil or whether or not she was good, because she seemed to be getting along with the other residents of the reborn Ataratica. So it's a little bit unsure as to whether or not she became evil once more, or whether she's fine or anything like that. But I find her to be fascinating and quite scary in that she dons all these different bodies. She takes them essentially and wears them like a skin, like just a suit that she's using. And in the whole time, she's usually like focused on Alice. As soon as Alice is in the picture, she's dead set on having her. Even to the point where she becomes a wanderer and leaves to go to Grimm's world in order to hunt her down and find her. And even in the end, when like she desperately was like fighting and whatnot, at the bitter end, she just wanted Alice. She became this deranged entity that was just obsessed with finally completing the goal that she set out from the very beginning, since she knew Alice existed. She wanted her, and it's never really clearly explained why she wanted Alice in particular, because it doesn't really give too much information as to whether she thought Alice was beautiful, whether she thought Alice was like the perfect body for her to possess. It's never really made clear, and I think that lingering idea of doubt as to, well, what were Valentina's intentions if she ever did get Alice. Was she going to possess her? Was she just going to keep her in her little pocket, in her little memoria stone and everything for a rainy day? We never really get a clear idea as to what Valentina's intentions were for her, and I think that's one of the scariest things of all in terms of force will. I mean, other characters that we've seen in lore, other quote-unquote bad guys, you know, they wanted to rule the world, they wanted to rule a kingdom, they wanted to destroy a timeline or anything like that. There has been characters, obviously, that have maybe murdered or even done mass genocide of things, but that's like your stereotypical evil / scary things. I think Valentina's path of evil is unique and very different, and because she's slightly unhinged towards the end, and you never really get a full grasp as to her potential and what she could actually do, I think that makes her one of the most terrifying characters within the Force of Will lore. Now, people might disagree with me here. They might have some characters that they think is actually the more terrifying, and I really chose this topic because I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to have for Halloween, to talk about which character specifically terrified me the most while playing Force of Will. Now, it is uncertain whether or not Valentina will make her return, since she was originally defeated at the end of Echoes of the New World, but of course the timeline reset and the reborn world that happened at the end of Rhea Cluster means a lot of the characters either were brought back to life or their destinies were changed, so it seems as if Valentina is now good, judging by the artwork on the reborn Ataratica card, but time will just tell whether or not this is actually fact or not. We'll just need to wait and see, because we do see some returning characters coming to New Valhalla. Whether Valentina will be one is like, we were not really entirely sure. I think she probably won't make a return. I think that was probably her last send-off, and we probably won't be seeing her in the near future. But it is a little bit of a shame that we won't get a full grasp as to what her full intentions were for all those different characters. But it also means that there's still that air of mystery about her that still isn't explained and still makes everyone a little unnerved about what she could potentially have done and what her real intentions were in the end, about whether or not, if she had never like lost her mind and become a babbling mess, what would she actually have done? Would she have like killed Alice? Would she have kept her? Would she have possessed her? We have absolutely no idea. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're going to have a lovely Halloween. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like some more discussion videos like this for Force of Will. I will hopefully have some deck profiles coming up pretty soon for the channel and whatnot, now that I finally got a couple of ideas down that I want to work on. But until next time, guys, I will see you all later. This video was made possible thanks to patrons such as Alucard and Craig McCutcheon.